On the other hand, you have to remember all the things that happen in your daily life that are worth continuing to push against the system for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. So
I don't. It's just like a psychology hour. If I have kids, what are they going to be 20 years old and shipped off to the military to fight some war or like a defensive nuclear war, like against robots? What?
Well, if you decide not to push back, I mean, that's part of self-determination, right? Like you have the free will to be actively present in the life you have right now and to do what you can to make the world a place that you would want to pass down to your children. I think you have to resist giving up.
Yeah, man, because you can't lose hope. The establishment actually thrives off of you not having hope. When the people they're trying to subjugate don't see a path forward, that's when they win. And
that's part of the attack on religion.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. The attack on religion and the attack on the family as well. You mentioned something about children. Again, I don't have any kids, but from every single parent I've ever spoken to, it sounds to me like choosing to have children is a tremendous act of hope. You're hoping that there will be a better future. You're being optimistic and saying, I'm going to bring life into this world because I think it's going to be a good thing that I did it.
You mentioned to us before the show that you renewed your faith in your early 20s. Was this idea of hope and having a path forward something that did that for you?
That's a good question. I mean, really, growing up in what's considered to be a secular Jewish environment, although it was very strongly ethnic because of the immigrant component of my parents and grandparents, and then finding myself as someone whose own parents had not gone to college, and all of a sudden I was at Princeton. So I was on the very precipice of
in an elite school.
An elite school, and sort of supposedly the entree into the elite of the world, which is not what I learned much, much later, was that these schools mostly perpetuate networks. They're not there to invite you into their network, although if you want to de-self yourself enough to really be a member of the club, you could.
De-self yourself.
But that was precisely, that's actually a Jane Coleman. That is my wife's phrase, not that she ever uses it.
You know what Woodrow Wilson said? The purpose of academia is to make a man as little like his father as possible.
Yes, and that's why his name has been stripped off every building in Princeton. Ironically,
I think that's the one thing he said they'd probably love.
Right, but not
exactly. They've moved away from their ideological father.
But the answer to the question is yes. I mean, looking at this strong identity that I had, and then looking at what really assimilating really meant, and the fact that I knew that I had an inherent belief in God and in the validity of the Jewish tradition as being something that was valid and meaningful to me. What I did was I went to Israel to study and became much more knowledgeable about my heritage, and actually took a couple of years between graduating law school and starting my career, my what would eventually become legendary legal career.
Did religion bring some humility to you?
Imagine what it was like before. Can you just imagine?
I don't think I can.
No, actually, there's not all that's much more humbling than being 25 years old and have a degree from Princeton and from law school in Northwestern.
Yeah, that sounds really humbling, man.
And no. And then going to a beginner's yeshiva in Israel and learning basically the ABCs.
Yeah.
Stuff that my kids learned when they were 7 and 8.
Yeah.
So that was, but the humbling effect did pass, yes.